Welcome everybody to CW Comic Book Crew. I am your host this week, Brandon.
Hey, it's
I'm
Brandon.
me. And I got my crew, Dez and Rob. Chris couldn't make it today, but I took over the duties, which means it's my show. I can do whatever I want today.
So then we're going to take an hour long to get through something?
Yep.
Basically,
But I want to start right off with what we're here for, the CW.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right. This week, we have all brand new content, except for one little inclusion, and I'll get that to in a second. Tonight, we have Supergirl starting off. Who doesn't love some Supergirl action?
You're going to find out who the world eaters are. I mean, come on. Like, it's Supergirl.
The World Eaters? So is Galactus on the show now?
Yes.
Or?
I'm
We'll
rebranding them.
We'll
I'm
see.
rebranding them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
DC Legends is
They're not
tomorrow.
ending, they're just eating it.
That starts
get
tonight
better.
at 7. Starting tomorrow night, Flash, and of course, Black Lightning. How are you guys liking Black Lightning?
Oh man, it's so good right now.
So
man.
good, right?
It's kind of the best show on the CW
I
right now.
absolutely agree.
They're taking the most risks. They're putting the most effort into
And
it.
it's
I mean,
working.
it's really coming
Yeah.
across.
I'm really
It's getting
enjoying
everybody
Black
into
Lightning.
it.
I really am. And then, of course, we're going to skip Wednesday because this week we do not have a new episode of Riverdale.
Sorry,
I
Riverdale fans.
apologize.
So sorry.
However, next week we will restart. I can't talk yet. We'll restart
There we go.
mid-season premiere of Riverdale.
Finally.
And of course, Thursday Supernatural Arrow starting at 7. We got a jam-packed week.
Yeah, we do.
But before we get too any farther, I want to get a little bit of a superhero shout out to our CW cohort, a friend of the show, Kevin Smith. Had a, I don't want to call it a massive heart attack. He's calling it a massive
Yeah.
heart attack
That's
last
what he
night.
called
He's out
it.
recording a stand-up special, and he's out there. I feel bad for the cat,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
he's working.
2018 was trying to take Kevin
I
Smith
know.
from us.
I
How
know.
dare you,
No, we're not
2018?
ready to let him go yet.
No.
Right now.
But I mean, he did tweet about it too,
He
and
did tweet.
it was a little cryptic, I guess, that he was saying that he was.
Yeah.
I think he was comfortable going if he needed to.
I know, right? But he's
yeah.
doing better now. He's in the hospital. He's getting better. So superhero shout out to Kevin Smith. And now I really want to change channel because I've been really excited about this for like a week. We do have a slight special guest. Before we
Yes,
switch to
slight.
channel 29, we got a special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, Batman of San Antonio.
Oh my gosh.
Hey guys.
Look at that. He's got an intro. He's got a background.
Yeah.
This is all really
More than
pretty.
I get. I'm on the show regularly.
More than I get.
We need to
That's
negotiate this contract better.
You guys should have signed off a little better. Batman San Antonio, you're here to help us promote Gotham this week. It starts again this week.
Yes, we are back.
We are back.
Yes.
Big mid-season
Yes.
premiere of Gotham. We've been really pushing for maybe a Joker, maybe.
Getting close.
Getting close. How are you liking Gotham so far?
I'm loving Gotham. You know, it started off slow, but now we are full speed ahead. I mean, everything and anything is going on that show. You miss a week and you're lost. So it's just it's a can't miss show.
It really, I mean, we saw a lot through those trailers.
Yeah.
We actually got some more video of what we can expect this week. I mean, I'm assuming this is all stuff from this week because everything looks kind of the same, but it's Gotham, so everything kind of looks like Gotham.
I just love the show just because, like, I love that it's like we get it. It's about Batman. You know, they're following like Commissioner Gordon, but I like how it's focusing like more on the villains part, like the rogues gallery. People really don't, like people outside of the comic book world don't understand like how impactful the rogue gallery actually is to the comic book world.
There's no Batman without the Rogues Gallery. There's just
Yeah.
not. Batman's not a good character without his bad guys. That's
And
what
it
makes him so
definitely,
great.
it definitely feels more like an origin for them, actually. I mean, it keeps shedding more light on them. You know, Batman's kind of in the background. I guess they're waiting for you to just assume to know who he is already.
I have to
but yeah.
disagree. Right now, he's kind of coming to the forefront. We're seeing young
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne starting to take the mantle, starting to wear the mask, starting to wear the cowl even.
Yeah.
And so we'll see possibly this week maybe a slight sighting of Batman or Batboy, I guess for lack of a better term yet.
Yeah.
He's growing into it. And then also this week we might see Poison Ivy. Finally
Finally.
full on
Yeah.
Poison
Yeah.
Ivy. So we're going to see some definitely some interesting stuff coming this week.
I prefer it as long as they make her what she's supposed to be, a highly intelligent individual. They kind of given her a little ditzy feel lately, so.
Don't make her ditzy. Just like with, like you can't make Harley
Yeah.
Quinn ditzy. Like she acts ditzy, but she's not because Harley Quinn is super smart.
Cold and calculating. They
Yes.
need to be-
Don't
yeah.
make Poison Ivy ditzy. She is a very intelligent woman, and in this current climate that we're in, it would be a bad move.
Well, if
they're
it's
probably
anything
agree.
like we've seen in the past, I don't think it will. I think it'll be very cold and manipulative and just Poison Ivy that we love.
One of the great things about all the females that have been on this show, they all use that persona because behind them, you know, you look at Barbara, you look at Fish Mooney from the first couple of episodes, they calculated every step. So I think if they do play her a little ditzy, it's going to play dividends in the long run. But yeah, I think you're right. She is so incredibly intelligent. They really need to accent that and highlight that for.
There's no show like he's had Fish Mooney's in the show, and she's still in the show. And fantastic character. I always preach anybody who can be Fish Mooney. Good for you, man. That's scary stuff right there. But because Batman's on our show, I had to do it. I had to do it, people. Our superhero spotlight of this week is Batman.
There you go.
You
all
had to
of
do it,
Batman
didn't you?
incarnations. Libra Jean was, of course, in the back because that's my favorite Batman.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Batman, man. Batman, what, we're pushing 80 years?
It's close to the 80-year mark. It was 75 years ago, a couple years ago, obviously, and they kind of had a big old deal out for it. They sent us to the Heroes of Fantasies a bunch of swag to give out, capes and cowls and all kinds of cool stuff. Nothing as good as what we got here over here. But,
you got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
you
exactly. You got to work your way up there. But no, it's still going strong. I mean, even this year, it's a Bat-centric year in terms of the comic, what they're doing. Two of the main events for DC right now, Doomsday Clock and Dark Knight's Metal, are
right.
all around Batman.
It's hard to go, but like you can throw a coin in a comic book shop and not hit. Like if you can't hit Batman, you're definitely not in the right comic book shop. There's thousands of Batman comic statues, busts, anything you want. And I mean, the cat's been around for almost 80 years, like we said. Bruce Wayne's been going strong.
Yeah, the bat. Right?
It's one of those all-time great personalities and personas I think we all relate to in some ways. Some more than others. I mean, a little more.
Just a little bit more, right?
But it's one of those things that transcends times. Because he's a little kid looking up to a Batman. You're like, that's incredible. That's what I want to be. He stands for all the right things, justice and not killing, and all those great things. As an adult looking at Batman, you're like, this guy has a few screws loose, but he's still fighting for what he believes.
Yeah.
So it kind of hits different generations in different ways. It's
maybe
incredible
just somewhat more relatable. I mean, because we're all billionaires too.
Right.
That Bitcoin money, man. That Bitcoin money.
But exactly, it's a role model for what you'd want to strive to be, I guess. Someone doing good for their city and their people.
He's also got a sweet ride.
There you go too.
And a butler.
Exactly.
And a butler.
It's true.
Can't survive without a butler.
I mean, it's weird that we can transcend such a weird culture difference of being a billionaire with all this money and all this time. And a guy who goes 9 to 5 like myself, I still feel a connection in some way. So that's great writing, it's great fantasy storytelling, and it's great just characterization of all that's right. On the same note of TV and Batman, slight villain that you might know a little bit. We saw our first look of Brainiac on Krypton. We got a premiere trailer of Krypton. We saw just a little snippet of Brainiac. What do you guys think? What'd you think?
I think it looks great. Like the costume. I mean, I went from kind of being a little excited about the show, like seeing how it'll go, and then now he definitely changed my feeling about the show. Somebody as important as him being on here, it legitimizes the show.
Yeah,
it's better than the Injustice 2 Brainiac.
And we might see a little more origins of Brainiac and where he came. Bats, what do you think about the Brainiac? Does it remind you of actual Brainiac?
No, I think he looks fantastic, and like you said, he does look very, very similar to the Injustice. And honestly, just a huge shout out to CW for what they did, because I don't think even a movie version of Brainiac could look any better. I mean, he looks fantastic.
So we'll have a release date on Krypton soon. I'm not sure exactly when they're aiming. Let's change the channel to the old VHS channel and watch some video game stuff.
Why gotta be on the VHS channel, Brandon?
Man, that's what we start with. We are gonna start with 8-bit. We're gonna talk about Batman and gaming, because I said this is gonna be a Batman-eccentric show because I'm rolling the show. Let's talk about Batman and gaming, starting with. Guys, we're going to talk all the way back, 1986, Batman on the computer, MS-DOS version.
Even in existence then.
It's fine.
And I'm glad I wasn't, because I probably wouldn't have played the game.
It probably wasn't. We got the video of the show. We have all sorts of Batman games. I want to kind of talk about the whole shebang.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we got the
Wow.
Batman.
Look at that.
Yeah,
wow.
Look, they didn't even get the logo right. It looks pretty terrible. Then, of course, in '89, we got a proper Batman the movie game, which everyone still holds pretty highly. We got the DS, the Game Boy Batman in 1990. Batman Returns on Sega Genesis, Sega CD, MS-DOS, Super Nintendo, Atari, Game Gear in '92. Batman the Animated Series, and of course, Batman and Robin on the Sega in '94, which was a big time generator. Batman Forever in '95, which we won't talk about too much.
The movie, yes. The game was decent.
Batman Beyond in 2000 on N64 and PlayStation. Very big game, very cool game. Batman Rise of Sin Tzu, which is of course the first time a comic book character was ever released in a video game form. Very cool. Kind of lackluster. Didn't sell
Batman Beyond.
Batman Begins in 2005, which sets up for the big game. Essentially, Batman Begins in 2005 set up for Arkham, the Arkham series, Arkham,
It changed
Batman
the game.
Arkham Asylum,
Yeah,
Arkham City,
it
and Arkham Knight.
It made comic book gaming great again.
It really did. And then, of course, sprinkle in some Lego games starting in 2008. There's about 4.
Those are always fun.
Oh yeah.
Right. So all that being laid out, being said, that's kind of a very abbreviated version of the Batman video game timeline. Very brief history, because there's a lot more if you go back in time. Where do we stand? I mean, this is now, it became kind of the funny, oh, look at the weird pointy thing on the screen, to now Batman Arkham City and Arkham Asylum, which is just amazingly good games that are now, I have no problem saying they are the pinnacle of superhero
see, when
games.
when the Arkham Knight games came out, like people finally got people who again aren't in like the actual comic world got introduced into Detective Batman. Because like in the games, like the games before that, we saw like the crime fighting, all the combat skills and everything. But like when the Arkham Knight series came out, we finally got to see like that good balance between like Batman and like Detective his mind. We got to see his mind work in video game form.
I think just in general with all superhero games, it's always been like the beat 'em up button mashers. But this one made you have to think a little bit and obviously try and solve the Riddler's riddles and all that stuff.
It was fun storytelling. Batman, you're the expert in, of course, this. Do these games now hold up? Have they ever held up?
These games revolutionized video games because it made Batman not only a brawler, but it made him brilliant because you have to solve puzzles to go through there. And that's the thing that a lot of people can identify with. Even if you're not that strong, if you're a really smart person, you can identify with Batman because he is the modern Sherlock Holmes. And you have to unlock these mysteries to move on to the next level. When you get to that level, then you get to pound it out, you get to fight, and then you move on yet again. So again, it was just a perfect smash of you had to be smart, but you had to be strong, and you had to know how to work both to unlock the game.
And an absolutely beautiful art design. That was one thing.
Oh God, yeah.
I remember when they
Rocksteady
first
great.
announced it, I'm like, Rocksteady, you got a big chip on your shoulder because if you don't get the art design right, you've lost me as a Batman fan.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. It's not dark, gritty, and kind of dirty. I don't want it. All those games are dark, gritty, and pretty dang dirty. They all have like rusty needles and stuff on the ground. It's pretty disgusting, but it fits very well in that world.
And the motif of Batman,
And now moving forward, like that Arkham Knight, I think is the pinnacle of superhero games
It's crazy
right
how
now.
like the way the AI was built into this game, like the pinnacle of a fight scene was him versus Dr. Freeze.
Right.
Like people call him Mr. Freeze, I call him Doctor.
I mean, he is a doctor.
Yeah. Like the whole thing, like you couldn't attack him the same way twice.
Right.
That was brilliant. It made you actually like have to like go with the strategy to
think about
beat
it.
him.
Right.
Yeah, ridiculous.
So moving forward, Rocksteady did a great job. Their next game allegedly will be a Superman game.
Yeah.
allegedly.
Everybody on this table, do you think that's possible? Can Rocksteady, who did the impossible, made Batman an absolutely fantastic game that's in its own era, own stone in its place, can they do the same with Superman?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think Superman's too OP.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I think it's hard to kind of like narrow down like specific powers for him to have because like over the years he's had so many.
Right.
I would love for it to work out. That'd be
great.
That'd be great. But the problem is what does it come down to? It feels almost like a Godzilla-like game where you're just kind of wrecking the city or something. You know, like what can he really do? I mean, obviously he's flying. You know, you got the heat vision and the cool vision, all stuff like that. But the problem is like, what do you do from there? You know, at least Batman, he can, you know, do the rappelling. He can get into the Batmobile, obviously, towards the later end of the series. Just all different things he could do. Superman, I mean, you can kind of throw in that same aspect with solving riddle-esque things or something. Maybe get Mixoplex in there or something like that, make him do some weird stuff. But I think it would be better catered towards around his rogues gallery of villains to make him more interesting, as opposed to like, man, I'm just going to just destroy everything with Superman.
I agree. I think if you're going to make a really good Superman game, you're going to have an amazing supporting cast. And maybe not play Superman every single level. Maybe you're going to be Jimmy Olsen. Maybe you're going to have to play as Lois Lane. And you're going to have to find some villains of his that can match him toe-to-toe. And whether it's Lex Luthor, maybe you can bring in Brainiac. I would love to see Parasite. Come in there, because Parasite can siphon off his powers.
Or Metallo. I mean,
if you play it right, it could be.
They're just throwing out names at this point.
Stop making up names.
It's cool.
Start writing down stuff, Rocksteady.
They've been working on this game for allegedly about 10 years now. Since basically Arkham City, they've been wanting to do this. They've been putting it on the back burner, kind of bringing it back. For allegedly, this is all alleged because they've never actually come out and said, hey, yeah, we're working on this. But if anybody can do it, I believe Rocksteady can, because they literally changed my mind with the Batman series, because I said, hey, they couldn't do this. And then the game footage came out of Batman being a Predator mode. I'm like, okay, well, they figured that out. Cool, right on. They took that from Batman Begins, and they worked it. And then they worked from there, and they worked from there. So if anybody can do it, Rocksteady can do it. time will tell. We'll see if this game ever comes out, if it ever
I'm
becomes
curious,
anything
like
more.
once Spider-Man actually releases, if that's going to affect
man.
whatsoever.
That brought me to the last point. I mean, right now, like I said, Arkham's the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's already there. We haven't even
Yeah.
seen that much gameplay footage.
Yeah.
It's
It's
very
pretty
well
amazing,
hyped.
yeah.
Insomnia Games has me intrigued.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, anything you're excited about?
Let's see. Just all things Batman, you know.
I'm glad I
Batman,
got to see this.
but right now, what has me on CW Legends of Tomorrow? My God, from episode 1, I have been a complete Legends fan. I'm loving that show.
Everybody-
Black
it's-
Black Lightning as well. How good is that show?
It's amazing.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
You don't have
it's
to
a
tell
great
us.
job.
We've been talking about it for weeks now. For weeks. Let's talk about some comic books right now.
Yes.
Rob, I know you brought some comics for us.
I brought a few things.
What'd you bring in for us?
So to make it a Bat-centric episode, I brought a Batman book. It was kind of a slim pickings this week, but Brave and the Bold, which is a series I've always been really into, which it would take a more established character like a Batman and pair him with somebody who's not as established to introduce them. However, this time I just took the mold and threw out the window, and they're like, we're gonna put Batman and Wonder Woman together.
It's not the first time.
Yeah.
They have had
exactly.
a fling on a different universe. We'll talk about that one day.
This issue's a little weird though. It's a mini-series, but they kind of introduce a deity who's kind of been tasked with guarding this world that's beyond ours, and obviously stuff starts going sideways, so he needs to enlist Wonder Woman's help. So he kind of shows up in between this awkward moment between Steve Trevor and Wonder Woman and asks for her help. And as Batman's also involved, he's kind of starting investigating something out in Ireland that's kind of almost maybe has a little bit of a Scarecrow feel to it.
right on.
So it's kind of a little weird situation. Liam Sharp is a very talented artist. Is being tasked with writing this as well, which is always difficult. I mean, Sean Murphy makes it look very easily with Batman White Knight. But unfortunately, I wasn't a big fan of how he wrote this book. It was a little too wordy, a little too ongoing. I hope he can kind of get it locked down a little tighter as the series progresses. But
this is issue number 1
It's
out
issue
of
number
6.
1. Yeah. So he's still got a little way to go. So hopefully,
hard on for issue 1.
I expect a lot. I expect a lot. You know, if you're going to spend your hard-earned money, I want you to read a good book. So Infinity Countdown. This is the big event for Marvel right now.
Oh, yeah.
So the Infinity Stones, which are kind of going to be in some movie this summer, I think. If you don't know about them, this is a great way to learn about them, seeing how they just kind of changed how they work from the usual way they've been set up this whole time in existence. But in this book, they kind of see the people assembling the gems, people who have gotten them across the worlds, and you kind of see their situation of how they obtained them. You see some characters come back who we thought have been dead, and so it's kind of cool. But as it's feeding in, this is this last one shot that's leading into the Infinity Countdown issue that's coming out in March. So it's going to be a 5-part series. It's probably going to end up breaking Marvel Universe.
Again, right, again.
So yeah. So it's a great read. Check it out. And this last one, Hit Girl is back. Last week I did Kick-Ass, so Hit Girl is here, sidekicking it up. It's a weird kind of situation because this Hit Girl is the original Hit Girl, and the Kick-Ass from last week is a new Kick-Ass. So this one picks up with Mindy trying to find a sidekick. She's been missing somebody since the original Kick-Ass, and she's actually been trying to find someone, force someone into being the next Kick-Ass, and it hasn't been working out. So this episode, she goes down to Colombia to seek out revenge for a paying client, and she searches out the most dangerous hitman in Colombia, this guy Mano. However, she kind of has different plans for him, and as the series goes on, we'll see how that goes. Interesting tidbit, though, is this was supposed to be taken over by Kevin Smith after this issue. So obviously with this situation, we'll see how that goes along, and obviously
I
I don't
expect
imagine
him to bounce right back up.
Yeah,
He was filming his comic book, his stand-up special. So it was stand-up. It was his second run. So if we ever see it, it'll be.
I'd imagine he's right there in the hospital.
Yeah,
right
Kevin's
now.
there. He's just jotting notes down.
So let's talk to Batman, man. We
Yes.
brought you on the show. First of all, thank you for coming. I've been wanting to do this for a while. Like Des can test. I'm like, we need to get Batman and San Antonio on here. So this kind of the worlds collided. Everything happened in the right time, right place. So let's talk about first. We got 2 events coming up.
Yep.
PopCon,
yes.
Let's talk about that first. That's this week?
Yeah,
This week,
PopCon's
Saturday.
going to be this week at the San Antonio Public Library downtown, 600 Soledad. And it's just going to be just all things pop culture. Whether you love cosplay, comic books, artists, we're going to have tons of things there. I know Heroes and Fantasies, you guys are going to have a
Yes. We're gonna
strong
have free
showing
swag.
there. So I mean, we're excited, and my entire team, the entire alliance. So we got 11 cosplayers there, boys, girls. We're going to take pictures and just have fun.
That's awesome. And then second thing we're going to talk about, we'll talk more about this again in a little bit, but Easter extravaganza, this is your big push. You're always like the forefront. Every time I see something on Facebook, it's you posting about Easter extravaganza.
My face right there.
It really is. Talk to us about Easter extravaganza. That's going to be on March 24th on Saturday at Traders Village.
Yeah, that's going to be great. So we have KLSR. Is going to be there. They're the main sponsor, and of course, we're going to be having that at Traders Village. And we're going to have over 5,000 Easter eggs for the kids. So we're going to have age ranges, so you can be 0 to 2, 3 to 5, 5 to 7, and then up. So free Easter eggs. You guys can go ahead, purchase bands. You can ride with me and my team on all the rides. So that's going to be really funny because Batgirl's deathly afraid of heights. So if you get her on something high, you just get a chance to just have a great family time, take a bunch of pictures, hunt for eggs. We've got door prizes, everything anybody could want, and again, all family friendly.
Awesome.
Nice.
All right, so let's talk about what you do, because what you do is absolutely fantastic. And one of the reasons I wanted you on the show so badly is because you spend so much time, so much effort, and clearly money, because this looks amazing. You look great. If you've never seen Batman in San Antonio, go to one of these events and check it out, because his costumes are like A++. All the Bat family are. I can't really speak anything but highly about any of them. You go out and you do so much charity work for kids and stuff like that. What got you into that? What drove you into that?
Like pretty much everybody here, I started out as a young fan. The first thing was I idolized Batman, but I knew I could kind of emulate Robin faster, being a kid. So I'm like, well, if I could be a good Robin, maybe eventually I'll become a good Batman. And gratefully I did. And I always wanted to cosplay Batman. I was always huge into Halloween, and I decided, when Batman Begins came out, I wanted to make a really good Batman costume. So I kind of started searching around, found some wonderful artists. They made me a suit. I went to Walmart, of all places, to get some pictures taken. And I saw a family, and they're like, hey, you know what? Our son loves Batman. It would mean everything if you could have a picture with you. I'm like, yeah, sure, where is he? And came to find out he was in a hospital. So I said, yeah, you know what? I'll do the best I can. I started, buying everything Batman I could. Balloons, get well cards, toys. And I went to the room. I spent 3 hours with him. It was supposed to be a quick 30-minute visit. And I got hooked. And I just wanted to give back from that moment on.
Amazing.
That's really cool.
I got some photos of you actually from your Facebook, and just going through them, what you did for these kids, like, it makes me emotional. I see these kids and they're so happy to see someone who they love in so many different forms. You come to them, and of course you do birthdays and stuff like that to pay the bills, which is fine. That's no problem at all. But you do all of your hospital visits are absolutely free for them. And
when it comes to hospital visits, home visits, I go visit schools. I'm actually going to be doing 3 school visits coming up in the next month. All that stuff is free. If I can put a child on the right path, put a comic book in their hand, be like, hey, you know what? Learn to love to read, and that just kind of opens them up to education. They start getting a higher education, get a good paying job, then job is done right there.
Right on, right on. So out of all the renditions you've done, all the different costumes, which has been your favorite costume?
Oh man, that's like asking which is my favorite child.
Let's start easy. What's the most comfortable costume?
Definitely this one.
This one? Any particular reason why? Or?
It stretches, it moves. The Dark Knight's probably still going to rank up as my favorite one.
Okay.
But that thing is so incredibly heavy. But believe it or not, it's actually bullet resistant. I don't recommend anybody trying to shoot at me when I'm wearing it. We put in a lot of work, but that thing is so incredibly heavy, but it looks amazing.
Absolutely awesome. What kind of time frame? Like, I know a lot of people are kind of interested in doing this kind of thing, be it for Comic-Cons or be it for any kind of reason, for Halloween even. How long does it take you to normally put something together, to something you like at least?
You know what? You can start off with something as easy as a Party City costume. Even if it's just homemade, just making a mask, just wearing a towel around your neck. If you love what you do, then it's going to kind of graduate on from there. And then if you want, I've got amazing artists and friends that it'll take a while. It'll take a pretty good amount of money, but if you love it, then you're just going to stick with it. It's like anything.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Like I told you, we got some photos, and these are just absolutely amazing. If you could tell all the people out there just one thing, what would it be?
What I tell every child that I meet: you don't need superpowers, you don't need a cape, you don't need a mask to be a hero. All you have to do is just follow your heart and do right, and it's going to follow you.
I absolutely love that.
Put it on a
Absolutely love that.
T-shirt.
Absolutely. That's why I was so happy to have Batman right here, man. Last but not least, before we get too far, like I said, I follow.
Yeah.
So I want to do one more superhero shout out to Supergirl. She's in the hospital right now, just kind of struggling through it. And I wanted to make sure she got some love. She was here at the station last time I saw her, doing a great thing. She was with your last event. She was there.
She was, and
sure
fingers crossed, Supergirl is going to be hopefully getting out of the hospital this week because she does not want to miss PopCon. If you see the picture right there, that's in the hospital. She actually took her Supergirl costume with her to the hospital so she can be ready for PopCon because she's going to be released Saturday morning to be there, and she's still with that costume visiting other kids on her floor to inspire them.
That
So
that is dedicated. Wow.
I heard last week that she was going through some stuff. I had 2 weeks ago. It was 2 weeks ago. Something like I was like, I need to have something ready. So, Supergirl, much love, much recovery. You'll get there as soon as you can. PopCon's coming up. That's this Saturday, and then of course Easter Extravaganza. You guys don't want to miss that. That is a big. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Guys, we did it. We got through all the favorite things.
We did it.
All my favorite things, right? Any last words for? Oh wait. This little piece of paper. Thank you, Rob. Hey man, we got a contest every week here on the CW Comic Book Crew. This week, Gil Aramino. Right on. That guy. You just won some comic books and some swag, buddy. Hey man, I'll give you a call later on. Get some stuff together. You come down to the station, but you can enter every week. We do it. You can enter right now on the CW Facebook page. We like to give out some stuff. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up too. We'll have another contest next week. Of course, don't forget Batman will be at PopCon this weekend as well as Easter Extravaganza. Definitely don't follow him on Facebook. Absolutely cool pictures. If you want to cry every now and then, watch some of his videos.
A clear schedule. There's a lot of stuff coming out on TV this week.
Really?
Seriously.
We got Gotham, and the next week we got Riverdale. Oh, and Black Panther happened also. We'll talk about that next week. I promise we'll talk about. We wanted Chris here for that.
Work for home.
There's a lot to get done.
Anything else, Batman?
Oh man, just keep reading comics, keep supporting your local comic book stores, and embrace your nerdiness, man, because there's a lot of us out there.
It's cool now.
Thank you guys for joining us. This has been the CW Comic Crew. I'm Brandon. This is Des. This is Rosin. Thank you, Batman, for showing up.
Yes, definitely. Thanks for having me.
Without Batman, it would have been weird and been like 3 people up here. I didn't like it. So we got Batman. Thank you guys. We'll see you next week.
Walking Dead?
Walking Dead happened.
Right?